All right, JP football fanatics, fantasy football owners, everybody, welcome to my rare Thursday night live stream here at JP Football Fanatics. Anybody that's a football fanatic or a fantasy football player that's looking for any kind of advice or any live stream videos going on, you've come to the right place. Welcome again. It's great to see everybody. I hope you're all having a great night and everybody is enjoying the weekend and getting ready for the first game beginning of week 8 tonight at 8:15. I'm going to try and get this done right before Thursday night football, so that way I can leave you guys to really make some decisions as far as what you're going to do with your fantasy football lineup and what have you. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much. It really means a lot. It helps me out a lot. So that way, you know, um, so I'm trying to come out with new material, new content to talk about, some new kind of requests I'm trying to take to, and just trying to experiment the YouTube channel a little bit, guys. I really want to make this work. I want to be able to do live streams. I want to be able to come up with a nice, solid schedule consistently, so that way everybody can have the opportunity to tune in whenever they're able to, and get the content that all of you guys deserve as football fanatics. So thanks again for tuning in. Before we get started, I would like to request from all of you to please drop a like on this video if you have not done so already. Drop a like, leave a comment down below if you are tuning in right now, and you can also leave a comment down below here at the live chat here, or when this video is finished and you come back for the replay for later, you could also leave a comment there as well. Your feedback and what have you, and your likes and whatnot, they're all going to make a difference, and they're going to make this YouTube channel come a long way. So please do all those kind of things, and we'll all be good with that. Also, just another heads up too that I need you guys to do as well. Please hit that subscribe button as well on this YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. I try to post as much material as I possibly can, given the busy schedule that I am. But I'm doing it, guys. I'm doing it right now. I've done it throughout so far in the beginning of the season. I've been consistent. I've been coming out with new live stream videos each and every week, and this week is no different. This is the midpoint of the week of the football season and fantasy football season as well. And it's really important for me to have this kind of video out because I want to be able to help you guys and seeing where you guys are at right now as far as the schedule goes and what have you, and where you're standing in your playoffs. So, tune into new material and content that comes out each and every week. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and all will be good from there. All right, so I'm going to go over a little bit of tonight's agenda. So, yes, the title of this video, yes, it's going to be about fantasy football. Yes, it's going to be advice and everything, but it's also going to be a lot of me showing you my lineups. Keep in mind, I'm in 3 leagues. I'm in 3 fantasy football leagues this year, and all 3 of them are, fortunately, they're in Yahoo, so it's easy for me to pull them up on my computer screen. So I'll share my computer screen with you guys momentarily, but I want to be able to share my screen with you guys and be able to show you the kind of positions that I do have open and available for you all. And so that way you guys will be able to see like what, what's it looking like so far, and how my season's going, who have I been playing, who have not been playing. Even coming up now, we're at the midpoint of the season. We already surpassed week 7, so playoffs are going to be coming pretty soon, honestly, guys. So that's why I'm doing this right now, and this is going to be the opportunity for you to participate with me. So the one viewer that is on, thank you so much for tuning in. It means a lot. But please spread the word out. Tell everybody that's a football fanatic to tune in to tonight's live stream as well. And anybody that you know is a football fanatic, because I really, really want to make sure that you guys are being able to retrieve all the appropriate stuff that you guys deserve. And I'm also reaching out to friends too. So with all of that being said, So it's mostly going to be my. Hold on one second, guys. Excuse me one second. I want to answer this text real quick. All right, good. All right, so I just wanted to answer that text real quick. Hopefully, that'll be something to maybe spark something and get some more people on. But yes, guys, it's here. It's finally here. The something that you guys have been waiting for and wanting from me for a while. For fantasy football people who are big fantasy football people and play, this is your opportunity to be able to ask questions, engage in a conversation, and what have you. So without a further ado, we're going to get started with it right now. So I'm going to start off with showing you the schedule, or not the schedule, the lineup for this week for my first league right here. So I am the Toon Squad right here. So right now, this is a league with my family that I'm in. I'm in uh, a league of 8 people right now in my family. Some of them are my they're cousins, my one brother, who, by the way, if you take a look over here at the week 7 results, I actually did beat him this week, or last week rather, in fantasy football, and it was also his birthday weekend. Sorry, brother, to ruin it on your birthday, but it was nice to get that win. And so currently, right now, I'm in 4th place in my league. I'm 4-3. This is my total points right now. I've had close to 950 points total, but my average of averaging points is very low. I'm actually the second to last, the second to lowest points being scored each week right now in my league. Which they did say that the other day after I beat my brother in convincing fashion. So yeah, I'm 4th place. I'm 4-3. I just leveled up to gold. I'm at gold right now. This is my overall record so far during my time of when I've been using Yahoo Fantasy Sports. And yep, that's what I'm doing. So this week I'm playing my cousin's husband actually this week, who is just a game ahead of me. So this is going to be a really interesting matchup. I am projected to win big. The only reason why the spread is so big right now is because he has Patrick Mahomes on his roster, and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are on a bye this week. So he's going to have to get himself a quarterback. He has a backup of Carson Wentz, but he's also not going to be playing as well. He is on the IR, so he needs to find a quarterback ASAP. And he also had Travis Kelce. He just picked up a tight end today that kind of moved things around a little bit more. But yeah, that's the matchup for this week. So let me scroll down and I'll show you the players that I have playing this week. And if you guys have any questions along the way too, you are more than welcome to drop a like in the comment section if you're able to. All right, so my starting quarterback normally is Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has been on and off. He's been hit or miss this year. He hasn't really exactly been the most consistent, nor has he really been like the most elite quarterback as I kind of thought he would have been this year. But right now, he is also on a bye week this week, so I do have a very valuable, consistent. That's kind of around the same talent level um, as far as fantasy goes, and I have Kirk Cousins playing this week. If you have the opportunity to start Kirk Cousins in your fantasy and your starting quarterback is out right now, like right now with either injury or is off on a bye week, definitely consider taking up on Kirk Cousins. They're playing the Cardinals on Sunday at home. This should be a really good game. He's projected to put up at least 20 points almost. I think he'll put up 20 points. I think he's been pretty consistent this year. As far as that goes, he's been nearly close to 20 points a game. I think one game, which it was like one of the only loss that they've had so far, the Vikings, I believe, and he put up less than 10 points. But for the most part, he's pretty consistent. I trust him. That's why I drafted him in the draft. I think he's a solid backup quarterback. I expect him to do some big things. I had to start him one week, and week 3 it was when Justin Herbert kind of was on the injury, realm, injury watch at the time, and it was hard to really predict on how well he was going to do in that game. And Cousins came through. He put up almost 20 points, I believe, in this league. So I have Kirk Cousins starting at quarterback this week. And then I have a bunch of wide receivers that I believe are going to do really well this week. T. Higgins is also going to be playing really well. His projection level just went up by a couple of points this week. And that was because of one thing, and I'll talk about that when I get to one of my other leagues later, who I have Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is not probably going to be playing, not this week, and he probably will be out for at least 4 to 6 weeks with a hip injury. And so that means more targets for T. Higgins if T. Higgins stays healthy. If he stays healthy. When he stays healthy, when he's healthy, T. Higgins is a beast. He is a good fantasy wide receiver. And if you plan on starting him, he is definitely a must start. I think he will do really well. He should project over 20 points. I believe he's going to put up 20 points at least, unless if the Browns defense decides to go hard and triple cover or double cover T. Higgins because he's the next man up. But he will be the number one receiver for the Bengals for this week. If you have that opportunity to start him, I highly encourage you to start T. Higgins. I think it's going to be a really good game for him this week. I think he's going to really come on real hard. I think it's going to be tough to really beat him. And when he is at his best, he plays tough. So T. Higgins, he's going to be playing this week for me. And it's at the Browns. So regardless of who the number one receiver is, I think Joe Burrow and company they'll always find the next man up to really step up to the plate and make some big plays. I think T. Higgins will be that person. Next one, this is an easy one. Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is the true number one receiver for the Bills, and he will continue to be so until the end of time, until he can't play anymore. Basically, he's still played at the elite level. He's been really, really, really good this year. He's dropped almost 30 points a game for me, which is a big plus for me in the receiving end, and really having like all these receivers in my league, guys, also really helps out make up for like the weakness of my team, and that's really the running backs, and it also makes up too for the tight ends as well, because the tight end position's been kind of off this year, hasn't really been anything great, and I wasn't really in a position to really get a good tight end, unfortunately. But so that's why I had to really bank up more on my receivers and try to get some running backs in the waiver wire. But yep, Stephon Diggs, you start him absolutely. He's the strongest start of your team, no question about it. All right. Next, we've got Derrick Henry. He's the obvious number one starter for your running back if you have Derrick Henry. He's playing the Houston Texans. He should have a monster game against the Texans. I do not have any doubt that he will not play well. I doubt that he will play very well this week. Not much to say about that one. Be quite honest with you. Not much to say about that one. But Derrick Henry, if you have Derrick Henry, he is the absolute start for this week for fantasy. No questions asked about it. All right. The other running back is Raheem Mostert. I got him last week off the waivers, and he right now is questionable. He does have an injury. It is to his right knee, somewhere in his knee, I believe, and it was something that was kind of questionable for him last week before the game with the Steelers. But he also had he had a pretty good game, and he helped out a lot in my running backs, where that's been like the real weak point of my fantasy teams this year. It has mostly been at the running back position, but he put up 22 points on me. He did pretty well. I was pretty impressed with the way he played. I was not expecting Tua and the Dolphins to be, using the running back or the running game or excel as much in the running game as they did on Sunday against the Steelers. And honestly, guys, I see Raheem Mostert probably if he plays again, I can see him 100% be able to be a contributor to this offense because they play the Lions this week. The Lions defense is trash. They're not good at all. And he can really have a big game with them. And if they decide to run the ball, I have no doubts that he's going to probably gain at least average maybe like 6, 7, 8 yards a carry. That's how good I think this matchup really is. I think I'm really going to do this really well this week with running back positions if Raheem Mostert ends up playing. Next at tight end, I'm still a little bit stuck at tight end. I have Pat Freiermuth right now for the Steelers, but I also have, Gerald Everett I can't start because he's on a bye this week, but I also have Hayden Hurst. We'll see how that goes. I think I would prefer, quite truthfully, I like both of the tight ends. They've been kind of solid this year. They're serviceable. They can get you points when you need them, and we'll see how that one really goes. I'm kind of back and forth with Freiermuth and Hurst, so I'm not really sure exactly who I'm going to be starting at tight end. this is probably going to come like before Sunday at 1 o'clock. It's definitely going to be like an earlier time frame before that happens. But right now he's projected to put up 9 points. I think he could probably at the very most. I think Fryermuth could probably put up 10. He probably could at least put up 10 to 15, maybe if he's lucky. And the Eagles defense does not play well. They probably could get up to 20, but I highly doubt they'll get up to 20. But I think 15 at the most is the most that we'll probably see Fryermuth put up. But tight end is a little bit questionable because tight ends have been very slow this year. They have not really been. They've been kind of quiet this year. Not really a big factor into an offense, for what I've noticed, except if you're Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews or Darren Waller. If you're like one of those tight ends, I mean, you'll probably put up really big points. But tight end's going to be the toughest spot for me because I think Hayden Hurst, I think he's been serviceable. When one of the receivers have been out for the Bengals, Hayden Hurst has stepped up to the plate and has made some big plays in the receiving end of things, and that's why I kind of like to lean towards more Hurst, if anything, Hayden Hurst. But he's also questionable, so that's also something to kind of really keep in mind of too. Before that game. So hopefully he's good to go. Hopefully they'll announce whether or not he's going to be playing. I think he should be able to play. I think he should be good to go. And if he does, he should see some receptions in this game. I think it opens up a little bit more of a lead room for the Bengals, and more in the passing game too for like the receivers that don't usually get a lot of ball time. So I'm going a toss up between Fryermuth or Hurst. I think either one of them could be good, but I kind of like Hurst better than Fryermuth, and I personally would start him over. But guys, if you are going to play Hurst, if you have Hurst or Fryermuth and you don't have a top tight end that's playing this week, and depending on the league size that you're in, look to see what kind of other tight ends there are, because there's really not that many. That's probably going to be the weakest point of everybody's fantasy teams this year because of how quiet a lot of them have been. So I'm back and forth on that one, so we'll see. All right, so this league I have two flexes. We talked about it in the beginning of the season, like before the season started. I wanted to put in, an extra flex spot. Well, one person I know in particular wanted to put 3 in. I kind of disagreed because I think the second flex spot is very manageable to do. I think it kind of is more in a realistic standpoint, I guess you could say, for an offense if you're looking at it, because with tight ends, I mean, you can always have a tight end play as a lineman and be able to block well, and then a flex player too, if you could too, depending on who your flex is. It could be a running back, tight end, receiver. I mean, it really doesn't matter, because in a realistic standpoint of how an offense normally would work, or if you're going to utilize a lot more players, it's also just very beneficial to have either a running back or receiver play that could, be like the third or fourth man up. So for 2 of my flex spots, I got Chris Godwin playing against the Baltimore Ravens, which is going to be happening tonight at 8:15. That's a good matchup. I think Chris Godwin, he's had a slow start. He's recovering from the ACL surgery from a year ago, and he is still kind of, a little bit flawed. He's still not quite the Chris Godwin that he was a year ago, but Chris Godwin is a valuable fantasy player. I trust Chris Godwin to make some plays when he wants to. And I think really just not for nothing, when this offense is fully healthy and Brady gets like the steam rolling, Chris Godwin is good in terms of being able to be the next man up for yardage. And I think Chris Godwin will have a good game. He should have a good matchup with the Ravens. I think Brady should have a good game against the Ravens secondary. That's just wildly inconsistent. Not really the greatest secondary of the Ravens that we've seen. Marcus Peters isn't exactly the Marcus Peters that we used to know when he played his time in Kansas City. He's not that same player anymore. Patrick Queen is good. He's solid. That could give them some problems, and other things like that. The defense side of the Ravens, but they're not great though. And I think the Bucs will come back. I think Tom Brady will come back. I think he'll be able to, get away from the blitz that the Ravens love to do on every single defensive play. And I think Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, what have you. I think the passing game should be much improved, and Godwin will see more targets and receptions for this game. Next flex spot I just picked him up in fantasy this week, and I was actually kind of surprised that no one else got to pick him up, and that's James Conner. James Conner, right now, he is questionable. He is questionable right now to be playing in this game, but based off of news articles that I saw and based off of the Yahoo report of how he did return to practice this week. He should be expected to go, but if he is not, then that's going to change a little bit of my in my lineup for this week. That means I would have to probably throw in Kareem Hunt as like the flex, or worse off because I have Mostert and Connor that are both questionable for this week. I would have to, worst comes to worst, I would have to throw in Kareem Hunt. I like Kareem Hunt. I think he's good, but if Nick Chubb is playing, it's a split time with Kareem Hunt. You don't get the full. You don't get the full Kareem Hunt in there, so that's kind of why I'm hesitant to put in Hunt in the running back position. He would, but I would have to. Worst comes to worst, if Mostert is ruled out, and if Connor is also ruled out for my flex. But I also got some decent players that could make up for the extra flex spot if James Conner or Raheem Mostert cannot play for this week. And I have Tyler Boyd and Jacoby Myers. I'm definitely fixated between the two receivers. I kind of like Tyler Boyd just a little bit more than Jacoby Myers. I probably would start Tyler Boyd over Jacoby Myers if the case is that James Conner does not play and he's out, and Raheem Mostert is out and he can't play. I would definitely put in Tyler Boyd. Again, it's because of Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is going to be out for a while, which will show more target times for Tyler Boyd. So that will be something really special to see. That will be something really cool to see. So I will have to maneuver a little bit of the lineup for this week if things do happen. But I think my first flex spot with Chris Godwin being in it works. I think it's the best option for me to start Chris Godwin for tonight. And I think if you have him, or if you're a fantasy owner of any of these players here, then you definitely want to start all of these players. These are all of your players that you should be starting for this coming week of week 8. But that right now, this is the starting lineup. This is my starting lineup for this week, and it's very subject to change at any time. So, the rest of my team here, this is the rest of my team that I do have. And then kicker, I got Graham Gano. He's been excellent this year as a kicker for the Giants. He should have a good game against the Seahawks. So he should put up a lot of points against a bad Seattle defense. But we'll see. We'll see if that happens. Then I've got the Dallas Cowboys defense that's been averaging a lot of points this year. My league is a little bit different of where I'm the commissioner of. So the projection is definitely a lot higher than you normally would see it. But with the defense of how my defense scores in my league goes by the kickoff returns, punt returns, and so it's basically based off of yardage. So I believe it's like 10 yards per point. So every time a return man gets to like a point, they get to like 10 yards or past 10 yards, it's a point for each of the 10 yards that they run past. And that honestly, it doesn't really make or break your success for the defense, honestly, but at the same time, it's helped out quite a few teams in my fantasy league this year. That's kind of made the difference, and especially in my case, I won a game barely by like a point. It was barely even a point when I won, a couple of weeks ago, but it was all because of the defense and just the slightest bit of what they were able to do. I think I'm going to keep that for next year in my league. I think that's a good, strategy to use, and it's something to consider when you do, you go into your drafting. So, the Cowboys defense is going to be starting unless they're on a bye week, and they will be next week, week 9, they'll be on a bye week, as will Graham Gano. So, I'll be in a little bit of trouble for a defense. A kicker won't be so bad. Guys, if you are new to fantasy football, if you have a kicker that's not playing for you this week, it's okay to go ahead and pick up another kicker. There's nothing wrong with and no shame of picking up another kicker. It'll be easy. But as far as defense goes and how this league kind of goes for me, the defense is going to make a little bit of a difference for me. because I don't know if I can totally trust everything with what my receivers and running backs can do. So that's why I like to have that defense in there. So I think it's a solid lineup. I think I should score a lot of points this week. I think hopefully, I think like the biggest games where I'm probably going to get the most points valued, I think running backs is going to be improved. Wide receivers should be fine too, I think, as long as Stephon Diggs does not get double covered. And as long as like T. Higgins, or if I even put in Tyler Boyd for this week, if they don't go too berserk or they don't go too crazy, on defense of covering those two receivers, I'm probably going to put up a lot of points. I should be able to put up some points with not a whole lot of issues. I think that more of the biggest concern for me is mostly going to be at quarterback with Kirk Cousins, and it's probably going to be the tight end position of where I'm probably going to struggle in the most. But other than that, I have all the other players that I need, and that will help me, win the game for this week. So that's my first league that I have. Let me show you the second league that I'm in and who I have and who to start. So, sorry guys, the computer is loading. Is mine? Yep. So this is Clark's dream team. So I am also 4-3 in this league. I was in this league last year for my friend. I was in it with my friend last year. This is his league of a league of 8, and it really worked out very well. I ended up winning this league last year, so I'm the returning champ. But I'm in 7th place right now. I'm averaging 108 points a game. My total points is 760, but yeah, I'm still in 7th place and still 4-3. So I have a winning season. So that's good. That's good to see. Okay, so this is one of the worst lineups that I have for this year. I don't have necessarily the greatest lineup of all time. This is a league of 12. Last year was a league of 8. This year is 12 man. So I have, some struggles here. And I think all of it is going to be on receivers. Yep, I did make some very questionable um, trades away to the receiving end of things. I definitely struggled in the receiving end of things. I traded away Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, who were, solid receivers for me. But the reason why I had to trade those guys away, because I thought I would be in a better position to get like a solid running back, was really my reasoning behind it. And at the end of the day, I mean, do I think I won the trade? Leonard Fournette. I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely improved my team. I think ever since trading away Mike Evans and trading away Terry McLaurin has really helped out my team a lot in that aspect. And I think, I think I'm on a roll to win more games. That's really what it is. So I have some solid players, not the greatest lineup ever. The biggest part I struggle in is the receivers. So we'll talk about, and quarterback too. So we'll talk about that. So here you go. So I have Tom Brady playing. I have him playing tonight against the Ravens. I think Brady, he has not been superb this year. He's had a lot of struggles this year. No question about it. He's been under 20 points a game fantasy wise, and he's only averaging like one touchdown pass a game. Basically, he has not had a multiple touchdown passing, uh, you know, quarterback lead this year. He's not been passing the football in the end zone for touchdowns or anything that much this year, uh, or at least multiple ones in a game. So he's 8 for 1 right now, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. But it's a toss up. I also have Kirk Cousins on this league as well. It's a toss up because I could also have, Kirk Cousins playing this game, but at the end of the day, I got to play Brady. It's just very hard to bench the GOAT. It's hard to bench the GOAT in fantasy, even though he's not playing very well. I feel like if I did bench him this week, it would probably cause some mayhem for me, no question about it. And just keep in mind, too, the Ravens defense also is not the greatest either. Yeah, they play solid for like the first half of a game, but then they fall apart in the end. that's where I think you're going to see the most of Tom Brady. Tom Brady does not lose three straight games in a row. That's why I got to go with Tom Brady. He's my starting quarterback for this week. Then I've got Jerry Jeudy. I believe Jerry Jeudy has been very hit or miss this year. I have not been impressed with him at all. I had him in my family league and I dropped him within the first couple of weeks of the season. I kept Cortland Sutton for a bit, but now Cortland Sutton is also struggling too. So I had to drop him too. The Broncos are just a mess right now of a team. But I kept Jerry Jeudy on because really, who else am I really going to have that's going to start? Who's at least like a starting caliber receiver for fantasy. So they do play Jacksonville this week. They're averaged 12 points a game. 12 points in this game. He is at least. So this will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this game pans out. I'm hoping he has a good game. I still think Jacksonville will beat Denver in London. But I think Jerry Jeudy right now is hit or miss. Same with Cortland Sutton. Russell Wilson will probably lean more towards Cortland Sutton this week than Jerry Jeudy. That's going to hurt me a little bit in the passing game. But at the same time, too, Jerry Jeudy also could have a breakout game and do really well and probably drop like 15, 16 solid points. So that's why I have him starting. And if you have Jerry Jeudy, he is a starting caliber receiver, and he probably could benefit from you starting for him this week. Next one, I got Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen from the Vikings. I have to start him. I got him in a trade. I have to start Adam Thielen. I think this could be a good game for him. Had a tough start to the season. It hasn't really been exactly the way that he's envisioned it. He is getting a little bit older now, so he's not quite as agile as he used to be. But he's still a solid receiver. He's still a true number 2 receiver that can definitely make some plays. He can catch the ball in crucial situations, and he's very good in the red zone. That's why I got to go with Adam Thielen on this one, and he's got to start for me this week. Leonard Fournette, this is probably one of the more productive running backs this year, but more of the fact of that he's been one of the more productive Tampa Bay players this year. He hasn't really been like the best rusher this year. I think if there's anything that the Bucs have really struggled in a lot, I mean, there's a lot of issues that the Bucs do have, but I think one of the biggest issues that they had, and it was kind of more of a fluke that last year that they were able to run the ball as well as they did, but the run game is probably the worst in Tampa Bay. But what I like about having Leonard Fournette is that he's not just a full back or just a running back for this team. He also is very solid in terms of being like the receiver end of things. He can catch the ball in crucial situations when he needs to. He can go for a deep ball if he wants to, and he's very good in the red zone. He's one of Brady's favorite targets in the red zone, along with Mike Evans. So that's, it could go either way. It's a good percentage that it could go to Fournette, or it could be a very good percentage that it could go to Evans. But I feel like Leonard Fournette, with the way that he's been playing since he's been in Tampa Bay, is probably the best football that he's probably played in his career. Maybe not this year a little bit. He's been kind of up and down this year. But I think he'll have a good game against the Ravens. I think he should come back from last week's dreadful loss to the Carolina Panthers. He should have a good game. And if you have the opportunity to start Leonard Fournette tonight, he's the man you probably would want to start. So think about that. All right, next running back, I got Michael Carter for the Jets. He will probably get most of the snaps on Sunday against the Patriots. We'll see how productive he really is. I'm not really sure how that's going to really pan out for him. We'll see. But I think right now you have to go with your gut and what you do have. I have Austin Eckler as my starting running back. Otherwise, Eckler would be starting over Carter easily. But I got to put my trust in Carter, or I got to put in someone else, or David Montgomery. Worst comes to worst, I could put in David Montgomery and see what he does at running back, or I could move up Tony Pollard, which I don't really want to. I want to leave Tony Pollard in my flex and keep Carter here or Montgomery here if I decide to start either one of those guys for this week. But the Jets are good. They're a good team. They're a good run team. I think Carter will probably see most of the snaps this week. He should be fine. Tight end is Tyler Higbee. He was the best tight end that I could probably find on this league and in the waiver wire. So I got to start with Tyler Higbee. Got to start him, and I traded away Kyle Pitts because Kyle Pitts was just not being productive. Flex, Tony Pollard. definitely start off Tony Pollard. His points have been solid. He can start. He can drop you 20 points a game if he really wanted to, and he's done that this year. He's had some down games too to keep in mind of, but I gotta give it to my man Tony Pollard. I gotta put him in my flex. It's too many points, and especially with Zeke and his injury right now, he could get most of the snaps this week. He could do really well against this Bears defense. That's usually good. The Bears defense is solid. They are good, but at the same time too, also have to keep in mind too that this is with Elliott getting injured and being likely to miss the game again, then this is a good starting point for Tony Pollard to make a big game, and I think that's where he could get that started. So that's all my other starting players, and then the rest of these guys here too. I mean, Austin Eckler would be starting easily over Michael Carter, easily. I could start up Hunter Renfrow. I could start him up, but he's been kind of hit or miss this year too. And Devontae Parker could be one, but he's not my solid chance of going anywhere, to be quite honest with you. Then for kicker, I got Brett Mayer for the Cowboys. That should be a good one. And then once again, I also got the Cowboys defense that could really put up another good game this week. So yeah, this is another good one. If you have any of these players here, a lot of them are definitely worth starting. And the bigger that your league is and you have all these players, the more likely you're going to want to pick up these receivers or, bring them into your lineup or see what's available in the waiver wire because, we're getting down to the wire, guys, and it's going to be very crucial at the end of the year. Like if your receivers are not picking up the pace or picking up the slack, like backup receivers during these bye weeks, and then it definitely can get pretty ugly pretty quick. So, I think I have a solid chance to win. I am projected to win in this game again. That would make it 5 straight if I do win, which I think I feel pretty confident in. I feel confident that I could win this game because I think a lot of it is going to be based off of Tony Pollard. He probably will be getting the starting running back spot if Zeke is not ready to go, which looks like right now he's probably not going to be playing in this game. So you got Tony Pollard. I got him. I got the kicker. And I got the defense, so I'm feeling really solid about that. And then with tight end, it either could be Tyler Higbee or it could be Irv Smith. But I like Tyler Higbee here. I think he's one of the more, trustworthy tight ends that could do something for you, despite playing a way tougher defense of the 49ers than the Cardinals. I still would probably pick Tyler Higbee over Irv Smith. So we'll see what happens there. There might be some maneuvers going on in this league in the lineup, but we'll see what happens once the season gets a little bit closer. So that's my lineup there. And then I want to go into this last one here. Clark makes magic happen. So in this game or this league, I started out 1-2. Now I'm at 4-3. I'm just like with my other league. I'm climbing up the standings, guys. I'm playing my best fantasy football right now. I started out this season being at 12th. Now I'm all the way up to 5th. And in playoff position, I'm in 5th place right now. With probably scoring the least amount of points, I got 5th. But we'll see what goes on this week. Because look at my lineup. Let's take a look at this lineup right here. This could potentially be my worst game of the week. And yeah, I did pick up Wan'Dale Robinson, and I picked up the Falcons running back for this week because I need to pick up the pace. So let me see where I could go. Oh, okay. Here, I'll click on it here. So yep, I'm in I'm in 5th place. I'm averaging 101 points a game. That's not very good, but this is a 12-man league, so it's exceptional, I guess. And I'm 4-3. I'm 4-3 in all of my leagues. That's pretty crazy, pretty wild to think about. Okay, we all heard about Jamar Chase. That's why I'm saying I'm probably going to lose this week because my man Jamar Chase is going to be out for quite some time. He's my man this week, and he's probably going to be letting me down. He's probably going to be letting me down this week, not having Chase. And I don't have Mike Williams either, who has also been productive. And he's probably going to be out for a while too with an injury. So I'm down with receivers. So let's take a look at who I got. Joe Burrow. You got Joe Burrow starting in your league? Automatic start. Automatic start. Regardless of whether or not Jamar Chase is there, you got to start him. Got to start him in fantasy. Gabe Davis for the Bills. Yes, another receiver I really like a lot. I think he's a good number 2 receiver. He doesn't get enough credit that he deserves, but he deserves to be in my wide receiver 1 spot for this week. I think he's going to have a good game, hopefully. He should see some targets. He should see some receptions, maybe even score a touchdown. So I got to go with my man Gabe Davis and hope that he does well in this game. Wan'Dale Robinson's going to make the wide receiver start for this week, unless if anything does change. But I think Wan'Dale Robinson is solid. He's been playing okay. He's more consistent now. But I like what Wan'Dale Robinson has done the last couple of weeks for the Giants. I think he really outweighs the amount of receiver depth that there was in the receiver end of for the Giants, which the receiver end of the Giants has not been very good this year. And they did trade away Kadarius Toney today. Not sure what the Giants were really thinking there. We'll see if that really pans out for them or not. With Kadarius Toney, it's a shame. But I am starting Wan'Dale Robinson. I think he should put up a good game. He should be better than what people give him credit for. I think he's done all right this year, and he should have a good game in this one. And quite truthfully, in my honest opinion, he's probably one of the more trustworthy receivers for the Giants out of any of the receivers that they do have. Alvin Kamara for the Saints. They're playing the Raiders this week. I think it's going to be a good game for Alvin Kamara. I like starting him. He's got to be my starter for running back. I drafted him. He was my second, draft, not my second draft pick, but he was, one of my second pick overall in my team that I had to, draft. I drafted Jamar Chase before I drafted a running back. Not sure if that was the smartest idea, but I got Alvin Kamara. He should have a good game against the Raiders. Then I picked up Tyler Algier for the Falcons. Cordell Patterson is still out, and they are playing the Carolina Panthers this week. The Falcons do a good job with rushing the ball. You probably see more of it with Marcus Mariota rushing the ball, but I got to go with the running back here. I'm just not left with anything else, guys. I have to go with him. Talked about Tyler Higbee. He's starting this week out of the other receivers that I do have, unless if I decide to go with Hayden Hurst. That could be a toss-up one. That could be a game decision time for me to have him put in. Then flex, I have Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney is a good receiver. He's the only good Bears receiver that there is on the team. Not sure exactly that he's going to put up the amount of points as like Gabe Davis. I'm going to probably have to have a big game from like Joe Burrow, Gabe Davis, and Alvin Kamara to really even solidify a win this week. But yeah, Darnell Mooney is solid. He's a solid receiver. He's good for the Bears. He's the only good receivers the Bears do have. And I think he should get most of the targets, and he should get some receptions for this week. But we'll see what happens there. I'm not quite confident that he's going to end up being in the flex spot overall. But right now, I got to go with Darnell Mooney. I got to put my trust in him, and we'll see how he does against a really good Dallas team. And then the rest of the team is all bench people. Eno Benjamin could see a potential start this week for either flex, or he could make a start for the running back position, depending on how I feel he's going to be able to do. Jamar Chase, he's out. So if you are planning, or if you do have Jamar Chase, better put him on the bench. Probably even put him in IR. I did have Cam Akers before, and I just dropped him. Don't know if that was the greatest idea, but I had to drop him just so that way I could pick up a running back. Hayden Hurst, again, could be someone that I could potentially put in. But I like Tyler Higbee just slightly better in this one. I think it will be a better matchup, so I'm going to stick with that. Kirk Cousins, I could start him over Brady. It's neck and neck, but I don't think it's really going to make too much of a difference whether if I have... no, not Tom Brady. I'm sorry. This is Joe Burrow. and I have Kirk Cousins. But yeah, Joe Burrow, definitely got to start him over Kirk. Then Mike Williams is out, but he's out because of the bye week, but he's also going to probably be out for a little bit. So I'm also injured there. Then I've got Graham Gano for the Giants kicker. Should have another really solid game. Then I got a defense, and I kind of have to go back and forth between who I'm going to really pick up as far as defense goes and which one I'm going to drop. But I think both defenses are good. I like the Colts defense just a little bit better for this matchup this week. I know Washington is coming off of a win against they're coming off a win against the Packers, which is impressive for Taylor Heineke and company. It's impressive for the Washington Commanders to come off of a win. And I also think they're going to win again this week. But I like the Colts defense. I got to put my trust in the Colts defense, who has been solid this year and has been, consistent. So I gotta go with that. And then the Bengals defense is on my bench for this week, but I might end up dropping them depending on if I am able to pick up anybody else. So, and that I believe is pretty much it. So my opponent this week I'm supposed to win this game. My opponent is 1-6 and is in 11th place. So, but I should be able to win this game as long as he does not put in anything for running back, which he has J.K. Dobbins. He's on the IR right now. I should be able to win this game as long as he does not put in another running back. I should win this game. As far as Raheem Mostert, I've got to worry about that a little bit. So that's why I kind of got to hope that like Burrow, which should have a good game, Gabe Davis, and Alvin Kamara, like my three top guys right now. And everybody else is like, not really fantasy football worthy. But I gotta hope like one of those three guys really comes off big and wins. That's what I gotta really hope for. But I'm 4-3. He's 1-6. If he's not really taking it seriously, I should be able to win. But that's also a very give me two because you never really know of how that's gonna go. But yeah, guys, I'm projected to win all three games yet again for fantasy this week. I'm having a decent season. I'm doing a lot better than I did at the beginning of the season, which I thought was going to be a complete bust. But with pickup in the waiver wire and pickups of some trades away from some players, it's worked out to my beneficiary, and I seem like I've been doing a lot better in the meantime. But yeah, I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about this one. I think this is probably going to be one of the more challenging wins for me to get this week, but I think I can get it as long as I play the right people in. That's really what it's going to come down to. But I earned myself into gold, though. Earned myself in gold, so I'm happy about that. At least in each of the leagues I'm in, at least I'm like the third best player. I think like this league I'm in like the third or fourth best player, and then the other two leagues I'm in I'm like the second best player. So I'm getting up there. I'm getting better. So we'll see how that goes later on in the year. But yeah, that's all my fantasy football players, guys. These are all my teams that I have. I'm in 3 leagues. I'll stay on for a couple of minutes. I want to be able to talk with you guys if you guys have any questions for me. But it's another really solid year of football so far. It's been a lot of mediocrity, for sure. There's been a lot of that. But there's also been some teams that have deservingly been a part of the wins and been a part of a winning culture. And I think there has been some good moments in some teams, and I really feel confident that once the postseason does come, I believe that there's going to be a lot going on there. So I like what I have right now. I'm not the most satisfied with what I've got as far as like players go and whatnot, but listen, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm trying to find the best players that I can get and can really bet on to really do really well for me. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully I go 3-0. Pray for me, guys. Pray for me to go 3-0 this week. Pray for me to go 3-0. But those are all my fantasy teams for the year and how I'm doing so far at midpoint of the season. I'm picking up the pace. I'm getting better. I'm getting better for you guys. I'm getting better for myself. So That's what I got to do in this case. So, guys, I see some people are still on. I saw at 1.4 people came on. That was good. But if you guys have any other questions for me, I'll stay on for another minute or so. If you guys have any advice or any questions about fantasy football and you need some assistance of like how to do your lineup this week, guys, I am here for you. I will help you out to the best of my ability. And if you want to message me at any time, it doesn't have to be personally on, YouTube. It could also be somewhere like a PM message through Facebook if you are interested. If you want to do some of that stuff, you are more than welcome to. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability, but but I can't do anything unless you ask for help if you really do need the help. So with all that being said, guys, I think I'm going to start logging off because I don't really have a lot of players. Players. I've been talking a lot of football, fantasy football, but I don't see a lot of people in the audience right now that really needs to ask any questions. So thank you for those who have tuned in tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you were able to understand everything that I was talking about. I hope you were able to follow it, and I hope you were able to follow like some of the advice and the players that I was playing. For this week. And I just hope that like my analytics and everything that I was explaining to you for why I justified to why I think it's the best way to start my lineup this week. I hope everybody understood that. I hope everybody is able to make a decision now. If you have any of these players on your team, definitely, do that if you're able to. And also before I go to, I just got to also add in before we close out, drop a like on this video, leave a comment down below. Guys, I'm going to keep saying it until, the end of time. I sound like a broken record when I say it, but I really need you guys. I need you guys way more than you guys need me. Okay? I want to get better. I want to build a bigger podcast. I want to talk about football with everybody. It's my hobby. I love doing this. I love talking sports with people that are into sports. But I can't do it unless you guys drop a like. I can't do it when you don't drop a comment down below in the comments down below. And also, I cannot do it without the subscribers. I can't do it without the subscribers. So please, hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell when you hear I have new content going on my YouTube channel. Guys, I go live every Tuesday and Wednesday nights. I'd like to see more people on. I like to see more people engaged in conversations. I want to make you guys feel comfortable about anything that you want to talk about in relations to football. So, drop a comment, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. All of these things that you guys are going to be doing for me will help me out in the long run, and the bigger and better that my podcast will be in the near future. So with all that being said, guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody being on tonight. Thank you so much for being on. I know it's a lot shorter. I was anticipating it to be a lot shorter tonight, so this is around the perfect time frame of where I want to end it. So thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. I hope everybody has a great night. This is JP Football Fanatics saying, peace out, football fanatics. Enjoy Thursday night football.